This is not just a fight. This is a clash that will change the fate of two fighters and leave its mark on a UFC history. Khamzat Chimaev, a brutal, savage, and relentless force. Dricus Du Plessis, the restrained but deadly punch of an African fighter. Neither knows what it is like to lose, but both want the championship. This will not be a battle, but a war. Khamzat Chimaev first appeared on the UFC scene in 2020. He became an instant star with the consecutive victories from his first fights. But the last few years have been a minefield for him, not asphalt. He has not been left without problems, health problems, injuries, fight cancellations. All of them have kept him away from the UFC Championship. In early 2001, Khamzat contracted COVID. It took such a toll on his body that he couldn't even exercise. He even announced his retirement because serious lung problems had completely disabled him. After returning to his healthy, this time he came up with a weight problem. The planned fight with Nate Diaz was cancelled at the last minute because Khamzat was far over the weight. Instead, he faced Kevin Folland and won with a dominant performance. After this incident, Khamzat said goodbye to welterweight and moved up to the middleweight. Next big fight in 2023 was with Paulo Costa. The tension between them was not just a sporting one, it turned into a personal battle. But shortly before the fight, Costa was injured and Kamaru Usman came in to replace him. Many thought that Kamaru would be an obstacle for Chimaev, but Khamzat successfully passed this test by the decision of the referee. But after the fight, shocking news came. Khamzat had suffered a serious injury to his right hand. This turned his entire plan for 2024 upside down. In mid-2024, a fight with Robert Whittaker was finally scheduled. The fight was to take place in Saudi Arabia. Fans were eagerly awaiting. But a week before the fight, Khamzat withdrew due to a high fever. Once again, his health was failing him. Fans had already lost hope, because every time he got close to a fight, either injury or illness. And finally, towards the end of 2024, Khamzat Chimaev returned to the arena. The opponent was former champion Robert Whittaker. Most UFC fans thought that, after such a break, Khamzat was no longer the same Khamzat. His undefeated streak would end. But as soon as the fight started, Khamzat took down the Whittaker with a double leg takedown in just 15 seconds and didn't let him to get back up. Nobody expected this. Whittaker collapsed without being able to land any serious blows. Khamzat Chimaev had reduced his opponent to 0. After this fight, there were no more questions. The next fight is for the belt. Dricus Du Plessis, who has won every fight he has fought in the UFC and currently the middleweight champion, began a remarkable rise by defeating Robert Whittaker in 2023. In early 2024, he defeated Sean Strickland to win the UFC middleweight title. But he wasn't satisfied with that. Du Plessis then successfully defended his belt by defeating one of the UFC's brightest stars, Israel Adesanya. He then faced Sean Strickland in a rematch at UFC 312. In a fight which went to the referee's decision, Du Plessis won a 5-round knockout. Du Plessis tries to win not only with his fighting skills, but also with words before the fight. The way he made Adesanya cry with his words before the fight showed how deep this trash talking has affected him. According to the media reports, Dricus Du Plessis had broken the fibula and would not be fighting again. This news caused confusion among the UFC fans. But a few days later, Du Plessis responded to these claims publicly. "I am the champion. I decide when I fight. Khamzat, he's the competitor. He will fight whenever we say." These words were not just a statement. This was a clear show of power, revealing the position and self-confidence of the champion. The situation for Du Plessis' side is clear. They are ready and focused for this fight. No speculation, no fear, only the goal to defend the belt. But Chimaev is not going to back down in front of him. Khamzat is an athlete who started his fighting career in freestyle wrestling and has excelled in this field. His wrestling is not only perfect, but also tactically. His double leg dives from the moment the fight began have become his calling card. Chimaev is very heavy and aggressive on the ground. He does not give his opponent a chance to breathe and takes down a fighter with strong defense like whittaker in seconds. When he's on the ground, he either has devastating effect with hard strikes or goes for the finishing attack at the right moment. Although Dricus Du Plessis doesn't have a wrestling career, his wrestling skills are at an elite level. He proved this with a crushing victory over a technical master like Israel Adesanya. But when it comes to pure wrestling technique, Chimaev is a step ahead. Du Plessis is superior in stand-up department. His punches are hard and consistent, and he can drive his opponent into tactical chaos with pressure. Du Plessis is also stronger in terms of conditioning. He's an athlete used to long fights, fighting with inexhaustible energy. Chimaev is not taking that risk. He's trying to get the fight down as quickly as possible and control the ground to wrestle. He aims to rush his competition with Du Plessis through the pressure and effective positional changes. These two fighters have one thing in common. Neither of them has ever been knocked out in the UFC. This shows that they have strong jaws and physical and psychological endurance. That's why many experts believe that this fight could last a full 5 rounds. The first scenario that could happen in this fight is that Khamzat Chimaev knocks Du Plessis down in the early rounds and tries to finish the fight there. Khamzat has done this many times before. His submissions have become iconic moments in the UFC history. Another possibility is that Du Plessis, having withstood Khamzat's relentless pressure in the first 2 rounds, turns the tide of the fight with his conditioning advantage in the 4th and the 5th round. The first condition for this is not to fall without a hit and not to break down psychologically. If Du Plessis wins this fight, he will be the undisputed champion in this weight class. An undisputed king will further consolidate his throne. If Khamzat wins, the moment that fans have been waiting for a long time, that will come true. The UFC will be declared the undefeated champion, and this could be the beginning of a new era in the UFC history. Who do you think will win this fight? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. But before you do, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's incredibly valuable for us to continue making documentary videos like this.